Now, as a cinematographer who's been doing this for over a decade now, I have a lot of pieces of gear that I need on set, a lot of things that I just can't live without. And you might think that the first thing that I can't live without is a camera. But the truth is, it's something much bigger than that. As you can see here, I'm setting up a monitor, and this is a really overdramatic B-roll sequence. But the truth is, if you take your camera and you point it at something, you need to be able to see the image. And I see all the time online and Instagram and all these big DPs using these little 5-inch monitors when really, bigger is better. Okay, but all jokes aside, I do actually believe this way of thinking. I've never really understood that. I'm looking around on Instagram, looking at these big DPs on these big sets. They have these little 5-inch like small HD monitors or TV Logic monitors on their cameras. These are what these operators are using. I've never understood that. The reality for me is always like, the better I can see my image, the more I can see of my image, the more problems I'm able to find on the image. I'm going to be able to dial in the image better. So I'm always trying to get a bigger monitor. That's the reason I swapped out my 5-inch for a 7-inch for my on-camera monitor. And now I exclusively use these 21-inch monitors by OSEE. Now I've been using OSEE monitors for probably the better part of like 2 years now, just because like that's an easy one for me to rent around here. They're very reasonably priced. So the one that we're talking about today is, they actually sent this one to me, which is awesome because it's actually one of their newer versions, which is this is the 21.5-inch high bright monitor. It's actually an HDR 1080p display, and it also goes up to 1500 nits. I'm sorry if it's really loud. I'm trying to do this one outside today just so you guys can actually see how bright this monitor is. This monitor is only at 50% brightness right now, yet you can totally see the image. I can totally look at the picture right now and judge my exposure off of it, or judge my lighting off of it using the LUT that's passed through to it. So it's only at 50% brightness right now. I could probably turn it up even more, which is very simple. You just simply hit one of these little up and down arrows, and then you just, so that's the backlight there, but let's go to brightness, and we're going to turn it all the way up to 100 now. There's actually something to note. The fan actually just kicked on it because I did brighten it so much. It's going to need to cool itself off a little bit. I'll probably actually just take it back down now. So we'll come here again. That's the backlight. We can keep the backlight up. Brightness, let's go back down to 50%. Now this monitor does come with a sun hood, so you can literally just clip that on here using these little button sockets here, and then you really will have no problems from a brightness standpoint. So I think that's the main reason to want this panel, is first off that it's very large. You're going to be able to see your image anywhere on set in a very large format, so you can always know what you're seeing. You can always see the picture. I know it sounds so silly, but you point your camera at something, you need to be able to see the image, and you want to see it in the best way possible. So to me, that's always in a bigger monitor. What's great about a bigger monitor as well is that your AC can pull focus off of it, and this monitor does have basically all the functionality of any other monitor that you would ever buy. It's got focus peaking on it. It's got, you know, your vector scope, your histograms, your false color. I use false color a lot to judge my exposure on here. And it has false color for basically every manufacturer, because not all false colors are created equally, but like the one I have set up right now is for my red, because I'm shooting on the red Komodo right now. So this false color will actually read the red log that I can pipe into the monitor, and it will tell me the exposure. And it has basically any feature that you would want on a monitor. I don't think I'm going to go through and walk through all of those. There's a lot of other videos online that people walk through every single menu system on here, but that's not really what I'm trying to talk about today. I'm talking about why you might just want to consider getting a bigger monitor, and why this is probably the one I would recommend. So other big monitors that are calibrated decently for color, that are high bright, have good image quality on them, those monitors are probably going to cost you $4,000 and up to get one of those. A lot of the reason for that is because they're just, the color is calibrated so well. But when you're on set and you're wanting to just need a field monitor to look at your image on set, you don't need it to be perfectly calibrated in my opinion. But what I can say about this monitor is that it has a really nice color rendition just right out of the box. When I got it, I've used I'll probably use 4 different OSEE monitors at this point now. I feel like the color in all of them is very pleasing and nice, pretty neutral. I can definitely see the difference between this and like my small HD, but that's not to say either one of them is correct. I haven't calibrated either one of them, but it's a very nice neutral image to look at when you're just viewing on set. Your director can look at this on set and no one's going to look at it and be like, this doesn't look right at all. Because it's a nice, bright, matte screen, there's not gonna be any weird things going on the monitor from like a glare standpoint or anything like that, especially with the sun hood on, which I do not have on right now. So this monitor is pretty nice for a lot of other reasons. First off, it has just feet on it, so you can just basically put it on a table if you want to, just to use it that way, or I'm gonna actually spin it around for you real quick. So on the back side here, I have my wireless unit mounted on the back. There's these kind of like mounting plate areas, which all I've done is actually just use Velcro and put it on here. That way I can take it off and on easily because the case that it fits in won't allow for these two things to stay on it, which is totally fine with me. It's not that big of a deal. It has SDI in and out, obviously. It has 2 ports for that, and then it has an HDMI in. This does not convert itself. The HDMI can't be converted from the SDI and so on and so forth. So that's something to remember when you're using this monitor, but it does have HDMI in. So if you're using a camera that has HDMI, that's convenient. I prefer SDI. I'm using SDI in all my stuff because the connection is just better that way. And so I've got my SDI in going in here. You can also update the LUTs and stuff using the USB stick here, as well as I believe it provides power if you wanted to provide power to something like this through the USB. Has a headphone jack, audio in if you want to use a different audio source and stuff like that. So like the things, the bare bone things that you absolutely need on a monitor, it's all here. It also comes in 2 different versions, a gold mount or a V mount version. I have the V mount version here with this big 190 watt hour battery on here. So this will go for a few hours for sure. At this lower brightness, it can go for quite a big portion of your shoot. It has your kind of standard light stand spud on here. I've got it on a C-stand here because it's just a little bit more durable and it sits a little bit more straight. Something I have found is this mount on the back isn't perfect. It kind of needs to be tightened ever so often because it wants to lean forward. That's probably my biggest caveat with this monitor is just like, I wish this mount was just a little bit more secure. It's secure, I mean, it's not going anywhere, but it's not as like sturdy and straight as I would like. This little knob comes off here and it goes inside the case with everything. So this little D-tap right here is very simple. It powers monitor like that, or you can run it into AC power into the wall if you just want to run it that way. It's a very simple back. It has a little handle on the back of it as well, because you can probably carry it around a lot. On and off switch if you're using the AC power, but I'm usually just using this V mount. That way I can just take it wherever I want outside. Like right now we're outside, we're in the sunlight, we're completely wireless, which is really nice. So like I said before, it is false color, histograms, has focus peaking on it. It has all those goodies that you would want out of a monitor, which is essential. If it didn't have any of that, I probably wouldn't recommend it. But the main reason to recommend this is, like I said earlier, is that a lot of other field monitors in this category are like $3,000–$4,000 and up, and they range up to like $10,000. Whereas this one, I think right now it's normally around $1,700 or $1,800, but it's been on sale for months now for like $1,386 or something like that. Really good deal. It also comes with a really nice foam padding around it when you get it that's already pre-cut for standard size cases. So I'm actually using mine with a Nanook 945 case, and it just pops right in there, and you don't have to buy any foam for it or anything like that, which is really handy. Your sun hood fits in there, your knob fits in there, all your cabling can fit in there as well. It's just perfectly already cut for the monitor, which I think is like an amazing thing that a lot of companies don't do, and I really appreciate that little touch, especially for the cost. You're getting all that for the cost. And when you get a monitor like this, you're gonna keep it forever, right? Like you're gonna have this monitor until it gives out. You'll have it on set for you for like the duration of your career for spending. So spending around $1,300 on it is actually kind of an amazing deal, because I mean, even a lot of on-camera monitors these days that are actually high quality can range up to that same price, but this one's bigger, has all the same features, and you're just gonna be able to see your image better on set. So I highly recommend this monitor if there's anyone out there looking to get something like this. And once again, thank you OSEE for sending it to me to try out. Like I said, I've already been using OSEE monitors, so it's kind of a no-brainer. I was like, yeah, send it to me. I want to see what it's about. And the high bright with the HDR, which is really great. So if you are using an HDR workflow, you now have that for the future on this monitor. So it's definitely up to preference, but I definitely just feel that having a bigger monitor is the right way to go. I always have this with with me on set now. That way I have a big image to look at when I'm lighting and dialing in my image. I'm sick of looking at these little monitors. Of course, little monitors are perfect when you're actually operating. Say you're on easy rig or something, you're gonna have to look at the little monitor. But often I still use this even like on a dolly or something like that. I use the bigger monitor and I can still judge what I'm doing off the bigger monitor way better. Your focus will probably be better from now on because you have this much bigger monitor to see focus on. I just feel like it's an invaluable thing. It really is my favorite piece of gear to have on set. Obviously you need a camera, you need these certain things, but this is the thing that I make sure I always have on set because it's just so valuable to me because it's all about the image and that's what we're here to do is create images. So until next time guys, I'm Mr. Sakurai, see ya.